Aegean's blue kisses gold, marble whispers ancient tales, and where every sunrise feels like a divine painting in motion. This is Greece, not just a country, but a living masterpiece. And our journey begins here, where myth meets reality, where gods once walked among mortals, and where the past is never truly gone. Close your eyes and listen the sound of waves, the gentle rustle of olive trees in the wind, the laughter of life carried on warm Mediterranean air. Welcome to the first step of an unforgettable voyage into the wonders of Greece. Our story begins in Athens, the beating heart of Greek civilization for over 30 years. As you walk through the bustling streets, you can feel the layers of history beneath your feet. Modern cafes spill onto ancient pavements, and the air is rich with the aroma of freshly baked spanakopita and strong Greek coffee. But above it all, rising like a sentinel of time, is the Acropolis. From a distance, the Parthenon gleams in the sunlight, its white marble catching the day's final golden rays. Climbing toward it is like ascending into the very soul of Western civilization. Every worn step of stone has been touched by the feet of philosophers, poets, warriors, and dreamers. Standing before those Doric columns, you understand why this monument has survived empires, wars, and centuries. It is more than a building. It is an idea made eternal. Beneath the Acropolis lies the Plaka district, a labyrinth of narrow streets where the past and present blend seamlessly. Whitewashed houses with cascading bougainvillea lead to small squares where musicians strum traditional melodies, their notes drifting through the warm evening air. Here, the pace of life slows. You can sit in a shaded taverna, sip ouzo, and watch the city unfold before you, an ever-changing tapestry of life and tradition. Around the corner, the ancient agora awaits, the marketplace where Socrates once debated ideas that would shape human thought for centuries. The ruins may be silent now, but they hum with the memory of a time when every stone was alive with conversation and discovery. As daylight softens into dusk, Athens transforms. The Acropolis is bathed in golden light, and the city comes alive with a vibrant energy. Rooftop bars offer sweeping views over the illuminated ruins, while street performers bring music and laughter to the night. And in that moment, you feel something profound, the realization that Athens is not just a relic of the past, but a city still very much alive. Its ancient walls don't just tell stories, they invite you to become a part of them. Leaving the heart of Athens, the surrounding hills beckon with their quiet beauty. Mount Lycabettus offers one of the most breathtaking views in all of Greece. The climb may leave you breathless, but the sight from the top will take what's left of your breath away. The city sprawls endlessly, a sea of white buildings meeting the sparkling blue of the Saronic Gulf. It is a view that ties together past, present, and future in a single, unforgettable panorama. As night deepens, the sounds of Athens fade into the hum of a city that never truly sleeps. Somewhere below, a bouzouki plays softly, and the scent of grilled souvlaki drifts through the streets. You realize that the magic of Greece lies not only in its history or its landscapes, but in the way it makes you feel connected, alive, and part of something timeless. And this is just the beginning. Beyond the city's lights, mountains, islands, and secrets await, each more captivating than the last. Our journey into the wonders of Greece has only begun, and what lies ahead will change the way you see the world forever. They call it the navel of the world, a place where heaven and earth once touched, where mortals came seeking the wisdom of the gods, and where prophecies shaped the fate of kings and empires. This is Delphi, a sacred sanctuary nestled high on the slopes of Mount Parnassus, wrapped in mist and mystery. As the morning light spills across the rugged mountains, the ancient stones seem to glow with an otherworldly warmth. You feel it instantly, the sense that you are standing in a place not bound by ordinary time. The journey to Delphi is as breathtaking as the destination itself. Winding mountain roads lead through olive groves that shimmer silver-green in the sunlight, with the deep valley of Phocis stretching endlessly below. Each turn reveals a new vista, more dramatic than the last, until finally, the ruins appear scattered across a natural amphitheater carved into the hillside. It's easy to imagine why the ancient Greeks believed this place was chosen by Apollo himself. Walking the sacred way, you follow the same path that pilgrims from across the ancient world once took, bringing offerings to the god of light, music, and prophecy. Temples, treasuries, and monuments line the route, each telling a story of devotion and ambition. The marble steps are worn smooth from centuries of footsteps, and the air is thick with the scent of wild thyme carried on the mountain breeze. You pause before the remains of the Temple of Apollo, where the oracle once spoke her cryptic truths. Here, the Pythia, sitting above a chasm that breathed sacred vapors, would utter words that could crown or condemn kings. Even now, the space feels charged, as if the whispers of ancient prophecies still linger between the stones. Just above the temple lies the Theater of Delphi, a marvel of ancient engineering. From its highest tiers, you can see the ruins spread out below against a backdrop of staggering natural beauty. Imagine sitting here 2,000 years ago, watching performances dedicated to the gods, the voices of actors carried effortlessly through the air. Higher still, the stadium awaits a place where athletic competitions rivaled those of Olympia, celebrating both human strength and divine favor. Yet Delphi is not only about ruins, it is about the harmony between nature and spirit. Mount Parnassus rises behind you, its slopes alive with pine forests and the calls of unseen birds. The crisp air carries a clarity that feels almost cleansing, as though the mountains themselves breathe life into you. It is no wonder poets and philosophers once came here seeking inspiration. It is impossible to stand here and not feel elevated in some way. As afternoon light softens, you wander to the sanctuary of Athena Pronea, just a short walk away. This is where one of Greece's most photographed treasures lies, the Tholos, a circular temple whose elegant columns rise against a sky that seems impossibly blue. Though its purpose remains uncertain, its beauty is undeniable. The sight of it, framed by mountains and sky, is something that imprints itself in your memory forever. When the sun begins to set, Delphi transforms into something almost ethereal. Golden light spills across the ruins, and shadows stretch like ancient spirits returning to the earth. You stand in silence, aware that you are witnessing the same sunset that countless generations have seen before you. Warriors, rulers, lovers, and dreamers. The connection is unshakable. As darkness falls, the valley below glimmers with the faint lights of distant villages. The air cools, and a quiet peace settles over the mountains. Delphi is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel, to reflect, and to remember. It reminds you that the greatest wonders are not only made of stone, but of the stories and beliefs that breathe life into them. And as we leave this sacred sanctuary, we carry with us a sense of awe that will follow us into the next chapter of our journey through the wonders of Greece. Some places feel like they belong to a dream, where whitewashed houses spill down cliffs like falling snow, where domed churches glisten under the sun, and where the sea is so blue it almost doesn't seem real. This is Santorini, the jewel of the Aegean, a volcanic island born of fire, yet kissed by beauty so soft and eternal it feels like a miracle. From the moment you arrive, you realize that Santorini is not just a destination, it's a vision, a painting brought to life. A place where every view feels like the cover of a postcard. The island's story begins in the depths of the earth, with a catastrophic volcanic eruption over 30 years ago that forever changed its shape in history. What remains is a crescent-shaped paradise that curves protectively around a deep, sapphire blue caldera. Sailing into the harbor, you are greeted by towering cliffs painted in layers of red, black, and ochre, each telling a geological story of fire and ash. At the top, white villages cling to the edge of the cliffs, glowing in the sunlight like jewels against the dark volcanic rock. Oia, the island's most famous village, feels like stepping into another world. Narrow cobblestone streets wind between whitewashed homes, their walls adorned with bursts of fuchsia bougainvillea. The air is scented with sea salt and freshly baked bread, drifting from small bakeries tucked away in hidden corners. Every turn offers a view more breathtaking than the last tiny terraces overlooking the caldera. Blue-domed chapels framed by the endless horizon, and steps that seem to lead straight into the sea below. As the day unfolds, the light in Santorini becomes its own spectacle. The midday sun paints the island in dazzling whites and deep blues, but it's the evening that holds the real magic. People from all over the world gather in Oia to witness what is said to be one of the most beautiful sunsets on Earth. The sky transforms into a canvas of gold, pink, and crimson, casting a warm glow over the cliffs and the water. As the sun dips below the horizon, the crowd erupts into applause, not because it's expected, but because beauty, that pure, demands celebration. Beyond the iconic villages, Santorini's heart beats in its lesser-known corners. The ancient city of Acropolis, preserved beneath layers of volcanic ash, offers a glimpse into a Minoan civilization frozen in time. Walking through its streets, past multi-story houses and intricate frescoes, you can almost hear the voices of people who lived here thousands of years ago, before nature's fury changed everything. It is a reminder that beauty often rises from the ashes of destruction. Santorini also invites you to taste its unique gifts. Volcanic soil gives life to some of the most distinctive wines in Greece, especially the crisp and aromatic Assyrtiko. Visiting a local vineyard, you see vines curled close to the ground in a basket-like shape, a traditional method to protect them from the island's fierce winds. Sipping a chilled glass while gazing out over the caldera feels like a moment suspended in time. And then there are the beaches, unlike any you've seen before. Red Beach, with its towering rust-colored cliffs, Parissa, with its black volcanic sand, and the hidden coves only reachable by boat, where the water glows turquoise and green in the sunlight. Each is a reminder that Santorini's beauty comes in many forms, from the dramatic to the serene. At night, the island transforms again. The white villages, now lit by golden lamplight, shimmer against the dark sea. The air is alive with the sound of clinking glasses, gentle laughter, and the soft strum of music from seaside tavernas. The scent of grilled fish, lemon, and oregano drifts on the breeze. You find yourself on a quiet terrace, the lights of Oia twinkling in the distance, and realize that Santorini is not just a place you visit, it's a place that stays with you, long after you leave. As we sail away, the cliffs grow smaller, but the memory remains vivid. Santorini is the promise that some dreams are real, that beauty can rise from tragedy, and that there are still places in this world where every moment feels like magic. Our journey through Greece continues, but Santorini will forever be one of its brightest wonders. High above the Thessalian plains, where sheer cliffs rise like the fingers of ancient gods, there is a place that seems to belong more to the heavens than the earth. Massive pillars of stone, carved not by human hands but by millions of years of wind and water, stand like guardians of time. Perched on their summits are monasteries, fragile, yet eternal, defying gravity, logic, and the passing of centuries. This is Meteora, a wonder where nature and faith are woven together into something beyond imagination. The first sight of Meteora is nothing short of breathtaking. As you approach, the rock formations tower above you, their vertical faces catching the light in shades of gold and gray. Some rise over 400 meters, and their shapes are unlike anything you've ever seen, smooth yet rugged, weathered yet enduring. It's easy to believe the legends that say giants once walked here, leaving behind these colossal monuments to the sky. The story of Meteora is one of solitude, devotion, and unshakable spirit. In the 14th century, hermit monks came to these impossible heights seeking closeness to God and escape from the chaos of the outside world. They built their sanctuaries on the very summits of these pillars, accessible only by rope ladders and baskets hoisted high above the ground. For centuries, these monasteries floated in a world of clouds, their connection to the earth, as fragile as their connection to heaven, was strong. Today, 6 of the original 24 monasteries remain active, each with its own unique character. The Great Meteoron, the largest and oldest, is a masterpiece of Byzantine architecture, its stone walls blending seamlessly with the rock beneath. Inside, frescoes depict scenes of saints, angels, and ancient trials of faith, their colors as vivid as the day they were painted. In the Varlam Monastery, a massive wooden winch once used to haul monks and supplies up the cliff still hangs as a silent reminder of the courage it took to live here. The journey between monasteries is a pilgrimage in itself. Paths wind through pine forests, across stone steps carved into the rock, and along dizzying edges where the plains stretch endlessly below. From these heights, the view is almost surreal. Patchwork fields, winding rivers, and distant mountains fading into the horizon. The air is crisp and still, carrying the faint sound of church bells from somewhere above. Meteora is not only about the monasteries, though. It's about the harmony between human faith and nature's grandeur. Standing at the edge of a cliff as the sun rises, you watch mist drift lazily through the valleys, wrapping the stone pillars in a veil of silver. The light changes minute by minute, painting the rocks in shades of amber, rose, and finally, blazing gold. In moments like this, silence feels sacred. And then there is sunset. As the day fades, the sky over Meteora becomes a masterpiece of color, deep purples melting into fiery oranges, the rocks glowing as if lit from within. The monasteries seem suspended between day and night, their lights flickering gently against the vast darkness beyond. Time slows, and you feel as though you are standing outside the ordinary world. For those who venture beyond the main sites, hidden treasures await small hermit caves tucked into the cliffs, ancient frescoes hidden from casual view, and quiet spots where you can sit and simply breathe in the vastness of it all. Meteora teaches you that some places are meant to be felt as much as they are seen, that beauty can be both humbling and uplifting at the same time. As you descend back to the plains, the towering rocks fade into shadow, their silhouettes etched against the night sky. You carry with you a sense of awe, not just for the monks who once risked everything to live among the clouds, but for the natural forces that shaped such a place over countless millennia. Meteora is a testament to what happens when human devotion meets nature's raw magnificence. And as we leave, we know that the journey through the wonders of Greece still holds many more miracles to discover. Some places pulse with life. From the moment you set foot on them, a rhythm you can feel in the sun-warmed streets, in the salty air rushing in from the sea, and in the laughter spilling from open doorways. Mykonos is one of those places. Known as the Island of the Winds, it is a dazzling blend of cycladic charm and cosmopolitan energy, where timeless tradition meets the endless buzz of celebration. Whether you come for the history, the beaches, or the legendary nightlife, Mykonos greets you like an old friend ready to show you the best night of your life. The first glimpse of Mykonos from the water is unforgettable. The town, often called Kora, shines against the Aegean like a vision in white and blue. Narrow lanes twist and turn like a maze, designed centuries ago to confuse pirates, though today they serve only to enchant visitors. You wander through them, past cube-shaped houses with brightly painted shutters, trailing vines of bougainvillea in vivid pink and purple. Every corner seems to hide a boutique, a cafe, or a small art gallery. The sea is never far. Its scent mingles with the aroma of fresh, baked bread and sizzling seafood drifting from family-run tavernas. The island's iconic windmills stand as proud sentinels on a small hill overlooking the harbor. Their white, rounded shapes and wooden sails once harnessed the strong winds to grind grain for the island. Today, they're silent, but they remain one of the most photographed sights in all of Greece. From this vantage point, you can look down over Little Venice, a cluster of colorful houses built right at the water's edge. Here, balconies hang over the waves, and at sunset, The entire quarter glows in shades of gold and amber, the waves lapping softly against the walls below. But Mykonos is not only about quiet beauty, it thrives on energy. As the sun sets, the island changes character. Restaurants fill with the sound of clinking glasses and the smell of grilled octopus drizzled with lemon. Street musicians play bouzouki and guitar, their melodies mixing with laughter and conversation. And then the music gets louder. The nightlife of Mykonos is famous around the world. Beach clubs, where the dancing begins in the afternoon and doesn't stop until dawn. Bars tucked into alleyways, where strangers become friends over cocktails, and open-air parties under a sky full of stars. For those seeking a slower pace, Mykonos offers some of the most beautiful beaches in the Cyclades. Saru Beach is perfect for those who love luxury, with crystal-clear water and fine golden sand, while Agios Sostis remains wild and untouched. A hidden treasure where the sea sparkles in complete tranquility. Paradise Beach, true to its name, offers both relaxation and a legendary party scene. Each beach carries its own mood, yet all are united by the irresistible embrace of the Aegean. Beyond its modern glamour, Mykonos holds deep historical roots. A short boat trip away lies the sacred island of Delos, one of the most important archaeological sites in Greece. In ancient times, Delos was believed to be the birthplace of Apollo and Artemis. Walking among its ruins, temples, markets, and statues, you step into the heart of ancient Greek spirituality, a stark contrast to the lively shores of Mykonos. And then there are the small, perfect moments that make the island unforgettable. Sitting at a cafe with a strong Greek coffee as fishing boats bob in the harbor, watching a local fisherman mend his nets as the last light of the day reflects off the water, seeing the moon rise above the windmills, casting silver light over the sea. Mykonos has a way of making you feel both alive in the present and connected to centuries of history. By the time you leave, you understand the magic of Mykonos. It is an island that can be as serene or as electric as you want it to be, where days melt into nights and nights into days without you even noticing. The winds carry away your worries, the sea washes your spirit clean, and the laughter lingers in your memory long after you've gone. Mykonos is more than a destination, it's a feeling, one you'll want to return to again and again. Some islands don't just tell stories, they hold entire epics within their shores. Crete is one of them. The largest island in Greece is a land of legends, where the footprints of ancient civilizations are etched into the earth, and where rugged mountains meet an endless, sparkling sea. This is the birthplace of Zeus, the stage for the myths of the Minotaur, and the home of people whose warmth and pride are as enduring as the island's wind-swept hills. Crete is not just an island, it is a world of its own. Approaching Crete, the first thing you notice is its scale. This is not a small patch of paradise, but a sprawling land of contrasts, sun-soaked beaches, lush valleys, snow-capped peaks, and gorges that cut deep into the earth. The air is thick with the scent of thyme and wild oregano, carried on a breeze that seems to whisper stories from centuries past. It is a place where ancient ruins stand alongside vibrant towns, and where every corner offers something unexpected. The heart of Crete's story beats in the ruins of Knossos, the ancient Minoan palace near Heraklion. Over 500 years old, this sprawling complex was once the seat of Europe's first advanced civilization. Walking through its restored corridors, you pass vivid frescoes of dolphins and dancers, intricate storerooms, and the legendary throne room. It is here that the myth of the Minotaur was born, the half-man, half-bull creature said to haunt a labyrinth beneath the palace. Standing among these stones, it's hard not to feel the weight of both history and myth pressing in from all sides. Beyond the ancient, Crete cities hum with modern life. Chania, on the western side of the island, is a jewel of Venetian charm. Its old harbor glitters at sunset, with fishing boats rocking gently beside pastel-colored buildings. Narrow alleys lead to hidden courtyards and small artisan shops selling handmade leather and delicate ceramics. At the edge of the harbor, a lighthouse, standing since the 16th century, watches over the sea, its silhouette framed by a golden sky. Crete's landscapes are as legendary as its myths. The Samaria Gorge, one of the longest in Europe, is a hiker's dream. A 16-kilometer journey through towering cliffs, wildflowers, and streams that rush toward the Libyan Sea. High in the White Mountains, remote villages seem untouched by time, their stone houses surrounded by olive groves and vineyards. Here, hospitality is more than a tradition, it is a way of life. Strangers are welcomed with raki, the local spirit, and plates of fresh bread drizzled with golden Cretan olive oil, often considered the best in the world. The island's coastline is a treasure chest of beaches, each with its own personality. Peloponnese pink sands glow softly under the sun, while Balos Lagoon dazzles with turquoise waters framed by rugged cliffs. On the southern coast, Mykonos Caves, once a haven for hippies in the 1960s, look out over a sea that changes from emerald to deep sapphire as the day passes. Cretan cuisine is a journey in itself. The food here is rooted in the island's land, and see fresh fish grilled with herbs, slow-cooked lamb infused with mountain spices, sweet pastries dripping with honey. Meals are not rushed. They are celebrations, shared over laughter and music, often stretching late into the night. And everywhere you go, the wine flows freely, carrying the taste of the sun and soil that nurtured it. But perhaps Crete's greatest treasure is its spirit. This is an island that has endured invasions, earthquakes, and wars, yet its people remain fiercely proud, deeply connected to their traditions, and endlessly generous to those who visit. There is a strength here, as unyielding as the mountains, and a warmth as constant as the sea breeze. As the sun sets over the Cretan horizon, painting the sky in shades of rose and gold, you realize that Crete is a place you don't simply see, you feel it in your bones. It is myth and history, beauty and resilience, woven together in a tapestry as rich and complex as the island itself. Leaving Crete feels less like ending a chapter and more like carrying a piece of it with you, a reminder that some stories never really let you go. There are islands that feel like stepping into a postcard, and then there are islands that feel like stepping into another century. Rhodes is the latter. Known as the Island of the Knights, this jewel of the Dodecanese blends sunlit beaches with medieval grandeur, where stone walls rise against a turquoise sea and cobblestone streets whisper the secrets of crusaders and kings. It is a place where every archway, every tower, and every shadow holds a fragment of history, yet it still pulses with the vibrant rhythm of Greek island life. The moment you enter the old town of Rhodes, you feel it, the shift from modern to medieval. Massive stone walls encircle the city, their gates leading into a labyrinth of narrow streets worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. The air is cool here, shaded by the towering structures of the Knights Hospitaller, who ruled the island for over 200 years. The palace of the Grand Master rises at the heart of it all, a fortress-like masterpiece with towers that seem to scrape the sky. Inside, marble halls, mosaics, and vast courtyards transport you back to an age of armor and banners, of torchlight and whispered strategy. Wandering through the Street of the Knights, you pass the lodgings of different knightly orders: Spain, France, Italy, each marked with coats of arms carved in stone. It's easy to imagine the clank of armor echoing through the night, the guarded conversations of men sworn to protect this strategic island at the crossroads of civilizations. But Rhodes is more than its medieval heart. Beyond the old town's gates lies Mandrake Harbor, where legend says the Colossus of Rhodes, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, once stood. Today, statues of deer mark the entrance, while sleek yachts and fishing boats sway side by side in the gentle waves. Along the promenade, cafes spill onto the sidewalks, offering strong Greek coffee and views of the Aegean stretching endlessly to the horizon. Traveling along the coast, the island reveals its natural beauty. On the eastern shore, Lindos awaits a picture-perfect village of white houses climbing toward the ancient Acropolis that crowns the hill above. The climb is steep, but the view is worth every step. From the top, you see the dazzling blue curve of St. Paul's Bay below, framed by rugged cliffs and the open sea beyond. The ruins of the temple here, dedicated to Athena Lindia, stand in timeless contrast to the bustling life of the village below. Rhodes also invites moments of pure relaxation. Its beaches are among the best in the Dodecanese Sambica, with its golden sand and warm, shallow waters. Anthony Quinn Bay, where emerald water meets rocky coves, perfect for diving and snorkeling. And Prasonisi, where two seas meet, creating a playground for windsurfers. As the day winds down, Rhodes offers yet another transformation. In the old town, lanterns cast a golden glow over stone streets, and the scent of grilled seafood drifts from hidden tavernas. Musicians play traditional Greek melodies, as locals and visitors alike gather for long dinners under the stars. A plate of maize arrives, dolmades, fresh bread, olives glistening with oil, followed by tender lamb slow-cooked in herbs. The conversation flows as freely as the wine, and you understand why the Greek word philoxenia, the love of strangers, is alive and well here. At night, the medieval walls look almost unreal under the moonlight, their shadows deep and mysterious. Standing there, you realize Rhodes is not simply a place you visit, it's a place that surrounds you, pulls you into its stories, and makes you part of its living history. As the ferry departs and the island's silhouette fades against the sea, the image of Rhodes stays vivid in your mind. The blend of salt, air, and stone, sunlight and shadow, ancient past and lively present. It is a reminder that some places are more than destinations. They are time machines, carrying you through centuries in the span of a single day. Some islands are kissed by the sun, but Corfu seems to have been kissed by every season at once. It is lush and green like a spring meadow, golden and warm like a summer afternoon, yet touched by the crisp freshness of autumn's breeze. Lying in the Ionian Sea, closer to Italy and Albania than to mainland Greece, Corfu feels like a world apart, an island where Venetian elegance meets French refinement and British charm, all draped over a heart that beats unmistakably Greek. From the moment you set foot on Corfu, the scent of citrus and blooming jasmine fills the air. Olive groves stretch as far as the eye can see. Some trees so ancient their twisted trunks have stood for hundreds, even thousands of years. The hillsides roll gently down to the sea, where turquoise waters lap at quiet coves and long sandy beaches. This is an island of contrasts, where vibrant towns hum with life. Yet just a short drive away, you can find yourself alone on a hillside, listening only to the sound of cicadas. The heartbeat of the island is Corfu town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where history is written in every cobblestone. Venetian fortresses guard the harbor, their stone walls still strong after centuries. Narrow lanes wind between pastel-colored buildings with wrought iron balconies draped in flowers. Laundry hangs lazily between windows, and the smell of freshly baked kaluri bread drifts through the air. The Liston Promenade, with its elegant French-inspired arches, invites you to stroll slowly, perhaps with a coffee in hand, as the world moves at a pace that feels just right. Above the town, the old fortress offers sweeping views over the rooftops, the harbor, and the shimmering expanse of the Ionian Sea. Standing here, it's easy to imagine the centuries of sailors, merchants, and soldiers who once looked out from this very spot, scanning the horizon for friend or foe. The new fortress, equally impressive, offers its own panoramic perspectives and a maze of hidden passageways to explore. Beyond the capital, the island unfolds in layers of beauty. Paleokastritsa, on the northwest coast, is a masterpiece of sea and rock. 6 stunning bays framed by olive-clad hills and cliffs that drop dramatically into the blue below. The water here is so clear you can see fish darting among the rocks from the shore. A short climb brings you to the Monastery of the Virgin, where fragrant gardens overlook the endless horizon, and the sound of waves echoes like a hymn. On the southern end of the island, life slows even more. Villages like Lefkimi and Kavos are surrounded by vineyards and fields, where time seems to follow its own gentle rhythm. In the evenings, locals gather in small squares to share stories over wine and plates of sofrito, a beloved Corfu dish of tender beef in garlic and white wine sauce. Here, Tradition is not something preserved in museums, it's alive in kitchens, in music, in the warmth of every greeting. Corfu's beaches are as varied as its landscapes. Glyfada offers golden sands and a lively atmosphere, while Agios Gordios nestles between steep green hills, its waters calm and inviting. Meteora Beach, hidden and less visited, feels like a secret you're lucky to discover. Whether you seek the stillness of a quiet cove or the hum of a beachside cafe, Corfu offers both in perfect balance. As the day fades, the island takes on a new magic. In Corfu town, the lanterns along the Liston cast a golden glow over the promenade, and the sound of mandolins drifts through the night air. In the countryside, fireflies dance over fields under a canopy of stars. It is a kind of beauty that is not loud or showy, but soft, persistent, and deeply felt. When you leave Corfu, it is not the sights you remember most, it is the feeling. The way the island wraps you in its colors, its scents, its stories, the way it manages to be both lively and serene, worldly and rooted, familiar yet new. Corfu does not simply invite you to visit, it asks you to linger, to slow down, to let it seep into your soul. And once it does, it never truly leaves. Some places feel as if they were created for love stories, and Nafplio is one of them. Nestled along the shimmering Argolic Gulf, this seaside town in the Peloponnese is often called the most romantic city in Greece. With its pastel-painted mansions, flower-filled balconies, and cobblestone streets that spill down to the water, Nafplio has a timeless charm that makes you want to walk slower, breathe deeper, and simply let the day unfold. Yet behind its elegance lies a history filled with sieges, empires, and the birth of modern Greece. The first glimpse of Nafplio is almost dreamlike. The sea glitters under the sunlight, while the Venetian fortress of Palamidi towers above on a steep hill, watching over the town like a silent guardian. At the harbor's edge sits the small but iconic Bortzi fortress, rising from its own tiny island, surrounded by the blue waters of the Gulf. It's the kind of scene that looks painted rather than real, where history and beauty blend seamlessly. Walking through Nafplio's old town is like stepping into a painting. Narrow alleys twist between neoclassical buildings with colorful shutters and cascading bougainvillea. Cafes spill onto the squares, their tables shaded by orange trees, heavy with fruit. The air carries the mingled scents of fresh coffee, sea breeze, and warm bread from family bakeries. You pass small shops selling handmade jewelry, leather sandals, and delicate lace artisans carrying on traditions passed down through generations. Climbing the 999 steps to the Palamidi fortress is a journey in itself. Built by the Venetians in the early 18th century, it offers sweeping views over the Gulf, the old town, and the distant mountains. From up here, Nafplio stretches like a living postcard, its red-tiled rooftops glowing in the sun, its streets winding toward the sea. The fortress itself is a maze of stone bastions and hidden corners, each echoing with the footsteps of the soldiers who once stood guard here. Down by the waterfront, life moves at a gentle pace. Fishing boats rock in the harbor, their nets drying in the sun, while ferries glide back and forth to the tiny island of Bortzi. Once a Venetian stronghold, later a prison, and now a cultural venue, the fortress offers panoramic views of both the sea and the mainland. The short boat ride is worth it for the perspective alone, a reminder of Nafplio's strategic importance in centuries past. Yet Nafplio is not only about history. It played a vital role in the birth of modern Greece, serving as the first capital of the newly independent state in the early 19th century. Walking through Syntagma Square, you can almost imagine the gatherings, the speeches, and the celebrations that once filled this space with hope and ambition. The old Parliament building still stands here, a testament to the city's place in Greece's national story. Beyond the town, the surrounding coastline offers quiet coves and sandy beaches perfect for a midday escape. Arvenisha Beach, just a short stroll from the center, is a favorite spot for locals, with crystal clear water framed by dramatic cliffs. Further along, Karathona Beach offers a longer stretch of sand, shaded by tamarisk trees, where the sea laps gently at your feet. As evening falls, Nafplio takes on a golden glow. The lanterns flicker on in the narrow streets, music drifts from open doorways, and the sea reflects the warm lights of the harbor. Couples stroll along the promenade, ice creams in hand, as children laugh and play. The smell of grilled seafood and oregano drifts from the tavernas, where tables are laid with meze, stuffed grape leaves, fresh bread, tangy feta, and bowls of olives glistening with oil. At night, looking up at the illuminated Palamidi fortress against the dark sky, you feel the weight of centuries and the lightness of the moment all at once. Nafplio is a place that invites you to linger, to lose track of time, and to fall in love not only with its beauty but with the feeling it leaves behind. It is a reminder that history can be soft, that strength can be graceful, and that some cities are not meant to be rushed through, but savored like the final sip of a perfect glass of wine. Some islands whisper their beauty, others sing it, but Naxos tells it in an epic story. The largest of the Cyclades, it's a place where myths walk alongside everyday life, where the mountains rise like ancient guardians and valleys burst with olive groves, citrus orchards, and vineyards. It is said that Zeus himself was raised here, and the god Dionysus blessed the land with fertile soil. And when you see Naxos for the first time, it's easy to believe the gods had a hand in shaping it. As your ferry approaches, the first thing you notice is the Portara, the massive marble doorway standing alone on a small islet connected to the shore. It's the remnant of an unfinished temple to Apollo, dating back to the 6th century BC. Against the backdrop of the deep blue Aegean, it looks both eternal and mysterious, as if it's been left behind for us to wonder about. At sunset, the Portara glows golden, framing the horizon in a way that feels like a scene from another world. Naxos town, or Chora, is a labyrinth of whitewashed alleys and blue shutters, where every turn reveals a burst of bougainvillea or a small hidden church. Above it all towers the Venetian Castro, built in the 13th century. Walking its stone pathways, you pass mansions, archways, and tiny shops that seem unchanged for centuries. This is not the kind of place that rushes you. It invites you to wander, to get lost, and to find your way again at your own pace. Unlike its smaller Cycladic neighbors, Naxos offers not just beaches but a varied landscape that feels almost like its own small country. The interior is dotted with mountain villages like Aperanthos and Philoti, where stone houses cling to the hillsides and traditional life still thrives. In Aperanthos, marble-paved streets shine underfoot, and locals greet you with a nod as they go about their day. Here, the language feels older, the recipes richer, and the connection to the past unbroken. One of Naxos's greatest treasures is its agriculture. This island doesn't just survive on tourism, it feeds itself and its visitors with some of the best produce in Greece. Potatoes from Naxos are famous throughout the country. The cheeses like Graviera and Arsenico are crafted with generations of skill, and the local Kitron liqueur, made from the leaves of the citron tree, carries the scent of the island in every sip. Sitting in a village taverna, with a plate of slow-roasted lamb, fresh salad, and crusty bread, you understand that this island's richness is not just in its views, but in its soil. Of course, Naxos is blessed with some of the most beautiful beaches in the Cyclades. Agios Prokopios, with its golden sand and turquoise waters, is perfect for swimming and sunbathing. Plaka Beach stretches for kilometers, wild and unspoiled, where the wind shapes the dunes and the sea shimmers under the sun. For something more secluded, Aliko offers hidden coves framed by cedar forests, a rare and peaceful escape. But perhaps the true heart of Naxos lies in its myths. This is where, according to legend, Theseus abandoned Ariadne after she helped him escape the labyrinth. Dionysus found her here, fell in love, and made her immortal. The stories echo in the island's hills, in the ruins scattered across the land, and in the way the locals speak of their heritage. On Naxos, history and myth are not separate. They are woven together into the island's identity. As evening comes, the air cools and the light softens. In Chora, the waterfront fills with the glow of tavernas and the sound of waves lapping gently against the quay. The scent of grilled octopus and oregano drifts through the night air, and the laughter of families and travelers mingles with the music of a bouzouki. Above, the Portara stands in silhouette against the last light of day, a doorway not just to the past, but to the timeless soul of the Aegean. Naxos doesn't just charm you, it roots itself in you. It's an island where every meal tastes like a story. Every path leads to something ancient, and every sunset feels like a blessing. You leave not with the feeling of having visited a destination, but of having been welcomed into a living legend. Some places feel timeless, others feel sacred, but Patmos feels like both. Rising quietly from the deep blue waters of the Aegean, this small island holds a presence far greater than its size. To Christians around the world, Patmos is known as the Jerusalem of the Aegean, the place where St. John the Apostle received visions that would become the Book of Revelation. Yet even for those who come with no pilgrimage in mind, the island's spiritual weight and serene beauty are undeniable. As your boat approaches the harbor of Scala, the first thing you see is the island's rugged silhouette, hills dotted with whitewashed homes and crowned by the imposing monastery of St. John. Built in 1088, the monastery dominates the skyline like a stone guardian, its thick walls designed to withstand pirate raids and centuries of storms. From a distance, it seems to grow straight out of the rocky hilltop, its presence both protective and commanding. Walking up toward Kora, Patmos's hilltop capital feels like stepping into another era. Narrow, winding lanes pass beneath archways and alongside houses that seem untouched by time. Blue shutters contrast sharply with the blinding white walls, and the smell of fresh bread drifts from hidden bakeries. From certain corners, the Aegean glimmers between buildings, reminding you that here, the sea is never far away. At the very heart of Patmos's spiritual legacy is the Cave of the Apocalypse. This small, humble space carved into the hillside is believed to be where St. John heard the voice of God and began writing the final book of the New Testament. Inside, the air is cool and still, the walls rough and unadorned except for centuries-old icons and flickering candles. A deep fissure in the rock, said to have been formed at the moment of divine revelation, runs along the wall. Visitors stand in silence here, some praying, others simply feeling the gravity of a place where words that shaped faith for millions were first spoken. Yet Patmos is more than its sacred sites. Its landscapes hold a raw, natural beauty, quiet coves where the water shifts from sapphire to turquoise, barren hills that give way to sudden pockets of green, and sunsets that turn the horizon into molten gold. On the northern tip of the island, Lambie Beach stands out for its pebbles, smooth, multicolored stones polished by the sea. In the evenings, the beach glows softly under the last light, the waves rolling in with a gentle rhythm that seems to match the island's heartbeat. Life here moves slowly. In the main square of Kora, locals gather for conversation over Greek coffee or ouzo, while cats lounge lazily in the sun. Tavernas serve dishes prepared with ingredients from the island's gardens and fishing boats, fresh grilled fish, chickpea soup, and local cheese drizzled with honey. Everything is simple, fresh, and deeply satisfying. One of the island's most magical experiences comes at night. Far from the light of cities, Patmos offers some of the clearest skies in Greece. Standing on a quiet hillside, you can see the Milky Way stretch across the heavens. The same stars that ancient sailors and monks once gazed upon. There's a stillness here that is hard to find anywhere else, a sense that the world is wide and eternal, yet somehow within reach. Patmos is not an island that shouts for your attention. It whispers, it invites, and it stays with you long after you leave. Whether you come seeking a spiritual journey, a retreat into nature, or simply a slower rhythm of life, Patmos offers all of it in a single, harmonious embrace. And when the ferry pulls away, you realize something rare. You're not just leaving a place, you're leaving a state of mind. Some landscapes look beautiful, others look surreal, but Meteora looks like something carved from the dreams of the gods. Towering stone pillars rise hundreds of meters from the valley floor, their sheer cliffs weathered by millions of years of wind and rain. Perched impossibly atop these monoliths are monasteries, their red-tiled roofs and stone walls blending into the rock as if they have grown there. From the moment you see Meteora for the first time, you understand why the word means suspended in the air. The journey begins in the small town of Kalambaka, where the massive rock formations dominate the skyline like ancient sentinels. At sunrise, mist clings to their bases while the peaks glow gold in the first light, creating a scene so ethereal it feels almost unreal. It's no wonder this place has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, not just for its natural wonder, but for the spiritual heritage it holds. Centuries ago, hermit monks sought refuge in these unreachable heights, climbing sheer rock faces to find solitude and safety. By the 14th century, monasteries began to appear, built stone by stone, using ropes, ladders, and baskets to haul materials to the summits. At their height, there were 24 monasteries here, each a sanctuary in the sky, separated from the world below. Today, only 6 remain active, but they still carry the weight of centuries of devotion. Visiting Meteora is like walking through a living testament to human faith and endurance. The monastery of Great Meteoron, the largest and oldest, stands proudly on its rock, its frescoes depicting vivid scenes from the Bible. The monastery of Varlam, just across the valley, holds treasures of manuscripts and religious relics. Ruzanu, smaller and more delicate, seems to float on its cliffside perch, surrounded by lush greenery in spring and snow-dusted peaks in winter. Climbing the steps to these monasteries is an experience in itself. You pass through narrow stone paths carved into the cliffside, the valley opening up below with every step. The silence here is powerful, broken only by the sound of birds or the distant ringing of monastery bells. Inside, the air is cool and scented with incense, the dim light filtering through centuries-old icons and candle flames. Yet Meteora is not only a place for the devout, it's also a paradise for nature lovers and adventurers. Hiking trails wind through the rocks, offering panoramic views that stretch far across the Thessalian plain. At sunset, the entire valley transforms into a canvas of pink, orange, and deep purple, the monasteries glowing against the fading light. Photographers from around the world come here to capture that fleeting moment when earth and sky seem to merge. What makes Meteora truly unforgettable is the harmony between its natural and human elements. The rocks themselves were formed over 60 million years ago, shaped by rivers, wind, and time into these towering giants. The monasteries, built with human hands but guided by divine purpose, seem like the natural continuation of the stone itself. Together, they tell a story of resilience, faith, and the human desire to reach for the heavens. When night falls, the valley is bathed in silence and starlight. Standing on a viewpoint, you see the dark outlines of the rocks against the glittering sky, the monasteries now lit softly from within. It's easy to imagine the monks centuries ago, looking up at the same stars, feeling both the smallness and the greatness of being human. Meteora leaves you with more than just photographs. It leaves you with perspective. It reminds you that the most extraordinary places on Earth are born when nature's grandeur meets humanity's spirit, creating something that truly feels suspended between Earth and heaven. High in the shadow of Mount Parnassus, where rugged cliffs meet rolling valleys, lies a place the ancient Greeks believed was the very center of the world, Delphi. For centuries, this sacred sanctuary drew kings, warriors, and travelers from every corner of the Mediterranean, all seeking the wisdom of a mysterious voice, the Oracle of Apollo. To step into Delphi is to step into a landscape where myth and reality intertwine so seamlessly that it's hard to tell where history ends and legend begins. The journey to Delphi winds through mountain roads lined with olive groves that stretch endlessly toward the distant Gulf of Corinth. When you arrive, the air feels different, thin, crisp, and charged with the weight of countless prayers and prophecies spoken here. The sanctuary sprawls along the slopes and terraces, each level revealing another treasure of ancient architecture. At the heart of Delphi stands the Temple of Apollo, its marble columns rising proudly against the backdrop of the mountains. This is where the Pythia, the high priestess, would sit upon a tripod, inhaling the fumes rising from a hidden chasm, and speak cryptic messages said to be inspired by the god himself. Her words, often veiled in mystery, could change the fate of entire nations. Generals planned wars, leaders made alliances, and ordinary people made life-changing decisions based on what they heard here. Walking among the ruins, you can still imagine the pilgrims who once climbed these sacred steps, some in humble robes, others adorned in the finest clothes of their time, carrying offerings of gold, silver, and intricately carved statues. They would pass the treasuries, small temple-like buildings erected by different city-states to display their devotion and power. The most famous of these, the treasury of the Athenians, still stands today, its marble gleaming in the sun, a silent reminder of Athens' glory. Beyond the temple lies the ancient theater, built into the hillside with perfect acoustics that carried every voice to the farthest seat. From here, the view stretches across the valley of olive trees to the sea, a sight so breathtaking it feels like part of the performance itself. Higher still is the stadium, where athletic games rivaling the Olympics once took place, blending physical strength with religious celebration. But Delphi was more than a religious center, it was the spiritual heart of the ancient Greek world. Here stood the omphalos, a carved stone that marked what they believed to be the navel of the earth, the point where heaven and earth were closest. This sense of connection to the divine, to nature, to destiny, was what made Delphi unlike any other place. Even now, there's a strange power in this place. The wind that sweeps through the ruins carries whispers of the past, and the light seems to shift in ways that make the mountains glow. Standing where the oracle once sat, you feel the enormity of the decisions shaped here, battles won and lost, cities founded, empires changed, all because of a few enigmatic words. As the sun sets, Delphi takes on an almost golden glow, the stones radiating warmth while the valley below sinks into shadow. The myths tell us Apollo came here every spring, leaving in winter for the land of the Hyperboreans, and perhaps that seasonal rhythm is still felt in the way Delphi seems to breathe with the earth itself. Leaving Delphi is like waking from a vivid dream you carry with you, not just the beauty of its setting, but the sense that somewhere between the marble columns and the mountain winds, the voice of the oracle still lingers, waiting for the next question. Some cities feel like a single era frozen in time, but Thessaloniki feels like 1,000 years of history layered into one living, breathing place. Greece's second largest city is more than just a gateway to the north. It is a crossroads of civilizations, where the legacy of the ancient Greeks, the glory of Byzantium, and the imprint of the Ottoman Empire blend seamlessly with the energy of modern life. If Athens is Greece's soul, Thessaloniki is its heartbeat, rhythmic, vibrant, and always moving. The first thing you notice here is the sea. The Thermaic Gulf stretches wide and calm, and along its edge runs the city's famous promenade, a place where life unfolds from morning to night. Locals sip strong coffee in open-air cafes, joggers weave between street performers, and fishing boats glide lazily against the horizon. The jewel of this waterfront is the White Tower, a 15th century Ottoman fort that has become the symbol of the city. Once a prison, now a museum, its rooftop offers sweeping views of the city and the shimmering waters beyond. But Thessaloniki's story runs far deeper than its seaside charm. Founded in 315 BCE and named after the half-sister of Alexander the Great, the city became a key hub of the Roman Empire before rising to prominence as one of Byzantium's crown jewels. Walking its streets feels like traveling through a time machine. Ancient Roman forums lie just steps from Byzantine churches, their brick domes and golden mosaics still glowing with sacred light after more than a millennium. Among them, the rotunda stands out, a massive circular structure that has been a pagan temple, a Christian church, and a mosque, each chapter of its life leaving behind traces for us to see. Markets are the city's other great treasure. Modiano and Kapani markets burst with color and scent, rows of olives, wedges of feta, glistening fish, and fragrant herbs piled high. Here, shopping is not just a transaction, it's a conversation, an exchange of warmth as vendors call out greetings and offer samples of their freshest goods. Then there's the food. Oh, the food. Thessaloniki has earned a reputation as Greece's culinary capital, and one bite will tell you why. Fluffy bougatsa pastries dusted with sugar, grilled sardines fresh from the sea, and kalori bread rings that make the perfect street snack. At night, tavernas spill music and laughter into the streets, serving meze platters and glasses of ouzo until long after midnight. Yet Thessaloniki is not just about the past, it's also about a vibrant, youthful energy. With one of the largest student populations in Greece, the city hums with art, music, and nightlife. Colorful murals cover old walls, experimental theaters share space with centuries-old landmarks, and the Laodika district, once an oil market, now pulses with bars, restaurants, and live music venues that keep the city awake until dawn. From the hills of Acropolis, the old upper town, you get the best view of Thessaloniki's soul. Winding cobblestone streets lead past Ottoman-era houses, their balconies draped in flowers. Byzantine walls stretch toward the sea, and from here, you can see the entire city bathed in sunset light, a mosaic of red roofs, blue waters, and golden domes. Thessaloniki's charm lies in its contrasts, sacred and secular, ancient and modern, Greek and global. It is a city that has endured earthquakes, fires, and wars. It has always rebuilt itself layer upon layer, story upon story, into something richer each time. As night falls, the city lights reflect on the water, and the hum of life never really quiets. Thessaloniki is not a place you simply visit, it's a place you feel. A city that wraps you in its history and energy, leaving you with the sense that its heartbeat will stay with you long after you've gone. There are places you dream about before you ever set foot in them, postcard perfect visions that almost feel too beautiful to be real. And then you arrive, and somehow, reality is even more breathtaking. Santorini is one of those places. This volcanic island in the Aegean Sea isn't just a destination, it's a masterpiece painted by nature itself, a place where the earth, sea, and sky meet in a harmony so perfect it feels like magic. The first glimpse is unforgettable. As the ferry approaches, the island rises dramatically from the water. Towering cliffs painted in shades of ochre, red, and black, crowned by a necklace of whitewashed villages clinging to the edge like pearls. These cliffs are the remains of a massive volcanic eruption that, thousands of years ago, reshaped the island and may have inspired the legend of Atlantis. Today, they form one of the most spectacular landscapes in the world. Santorini's most famous villages, Fira, Imiravigli, and Oia, spill across the caldera's rim, their narrow streets winding between blue-domed churches, flower-covered terraces, and hidden courtyards. Walking here feels like stepping into a dream where every turn offers a new view more stunning than the last. The sunlight dances on the white walls, and the Aegean below shimmers in shades of turquoise and sapphire. But Santorini isn't just about beauty, it's about moments. The slow mornings when you sip strong Greek coffee on a balcony overlooking the sea. The afternoons spent wandering through boutique shops, tasting local wines in hillside vineyards, or exploring the archaeological site of Acropolis, a Bronze Age city preserved in volcanic ash like a time capsule from 600 years ago. The evenings when the air cools, and the whole island seems to gather in anticipation for one of the world's most famous sunsets. And then, there is that moment in Oia when the sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in colors no artist could truly capture. Gold melts into pink, pink into purple, and finally into a deep, velvety blue. The white buildings glow with a soft fire, and for a few minutes, time stands still. It's not just a sunset, it's an experience that touches something deep within you, a reminder of how vast and beautiful the world can be. Santorini also has a quieter side. Black sand beaches like Parissa and Kamari stretch along the coast, their volcanic grains warm beneath your feet. The red beach, with its crimson cliffs, feels almost otherworldly. In the village of Pyrgos, away from the crowds, life moves at a slower pace, locals chatting in small squares, children playing in the streets, and church bells ringing in the distance. The island's flavors are as rich as its landscapes. Santorini is famous for its cherry tomatoes, capers, and white eggplants, all grown in volcanic soil that gives them an intense taste. In small tavernas, you can savor fava puree drizzled with olive oil, fresh-caught fish grilled to perfection, and, of course, a glass of Assyrtiko wine, crisp and bright, grown from vines that have adapted to this harsh yet fertile land for centuries. As your time here comes to an end, you realize Santorini is more than just a destination, it's a feeling. It's the way the wind carries the scent of the sea, the way the light changes the colors of the cliffs each hour, the way the island seems to hold you in a quiet embrace. Standing at the edge of the caldera, watching the horizon fade into the night, you understand why Santorini has captured hearts for generations. It's not only the beauty you take with you, it's the serenity, the wonder, and the memory of knowing you stood in one of the most extraordinary places on Earth. And though you leave, a part of you will always remain here, etched into the timeless rhythm of the Aegean waves. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.